Okay, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into, well, a really dynamic space,
Yeah.
the intersection of artificial intelligence and influencer marketing. And we're focusing specifically on Thailand's digital scene, which is evolving so fast.
Absolutely. And we've gone through the sources you shared, that key article, some pretty compelling stats, and a really interesting case study.
Yeah, that case study was fascinating. So, our goal here, it's pretty straightforward but important. Pull out the core insights,
Mhm.
understand what AI isn't just doing to influencer marketing, but how it's fundamentally reshaping it
Yeah.
for brands, creators, and crucially for you, the consumer, especially in Thailand.
And what really jumps out is that this isn't just like automating old tasks.
Right.
AI is actually changing the way brands connect through human voices, yes, but now
Yeah.
maybe even non-human ones too.
Exactly. So let's get into it. Influencer marketing is already, well, it's massive in Thailand. We know that.
Huge. It's built on that idea of authentic connection, trusted voices.
But finding that perfect fit, that's always been the challenge, hasn't it? You might see someone with a huge follower count.
Yeah, the classic metric.
But as we know, that doesn't mean they're actually influencing the right people for, say, a specific niche brand.
That's the key point, really. Relying just on those surface numbers, it often leads to campaigns that, look okay on paper, but don't actually move the needle.
A bit hit or miss.
Kind of like throwing darts in the dark.
Yeah. And this is where AI flips the script. It offers a data-driven way to find the right match.
Okay, so the data points AI platforms use, they go way beyond just counting followers, right?
Yeah.
What did the sources highlight there?
Oh, much deeper. We're talking AI analyzing engagement rates really closely, understanding the actual demographics and interests of an audience.
Not just claimed interest, but actual behavior.
Exactly. Plus, sentiment analysis, what's the feeling around their content?
Hmm.
And evaluating how relevant their past posts are to what a brand wants to achieve now.
Wow, okay. That sounds incredibly powerful compared to just, scrolling through a profile.
It is. And the sources mention a specific platform in Thailand, Telscore.
Yes, Telscore.
Yeah.
A great local example. They work with, over 80,000 influencers in Thailand?
Wow.
Yeah, across loads of niches. And they use AI precisely for this to streamline that whole matchmaking process, finding the right fit faster and smarter.
So instead of a brand just guessing or going with their gut,
Mm.
AI helps them pinpoint influencers whose audience data, whose content history genuinely shows they connect with the specific group the brand needs to reach. What's the real impact of that precision?
Well, think about wasted ad spend.
Mm-hmm.
It drastically reduces it.
Right.
When you match an influencer to an audience much more accurately, the whole campaign just becomes more effective, naturally.
Better engagement, maybe higher conversion.
Exactly, because you're talking to people who are actually likely to care.
Mm-hmm.
It shifts focus from just broad reach to precise influence.
Okay, so finding the right person, that's step one. But what happens next? Once you've got that influencer, how do you make sure the message, the content itself actually works? Does AI play a role there too?
Absolutely. It's not just about the who, it's also about the what and how. AI is becoming key for refining the content strategy.
How so?
Well, the sources show platforms using AI to analyze audience preferences before content even gets made,
Okay.
predicting the best times to post for maximum impact, tracking performance metrics in real time once something is live.
So an influencer isn't just like posting and hoping. They can get actual data telling them what works best for their audience with this specific campaign.
Precisely. It allows for this kind of dynamic tailoring. If the AI shows, say, videos are killing it for a certain product with a specific demographic,
They can lean into that.
yeah, they can adjust their approach. And this is super relevant in Thailand.
Mhm.
Cultural nuances matter a lot.
Yeah.
Localized content is king. AI can help pinpoint exactly what kind of localization is resonating. It makes the content smarter, not just another sponsored post.
Right. Okay, let's shift gears a bit because the sources brought up something that feels, well, a bit sci-fi. Virtual influencers.
Ah, yes. The CGI characters.
Entirely computer-generated, look human-like, and they're popping up globally, and it seems in Thailand, too.
It's a really fascinating trend. You can see the appeal for brands, right?
Complete control.
Total control over messaging, perfect brand alignment every single time. And, fewer risks maybe, compared to unpredictable human personality sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that. But as the sources pointed out, it's not straightforward. Apparently, what was it, 43.8% of marketers surveyed had concerns. ethical concerns.
And that's a significant number.
Yeah.
It really highlights the need for transparency.
You mean being upfront that they're not real?
Exactly. These virtual influencers, they offer this new way to engage, highly controlled, very consistent. But keeping consumer trust means being clear they're artificial. It's a new tool, and everyone's still figuring out the rules of the road, ethically speaking.
Makes sense. Okay, moving from the futuristic back to something fundamental, ROI.
Ah, the holy grail.
Yeah, return on investment. Always a massive headache in influencer marketing, wasn't it? Proving the value, tracking how much impact came from that specific post or that influencer. Attribution's been so tricky.
Notoriously difficult. But this is another area where AI is making some serious headway. It's helping to sort of demystify the ROI calculation by spotting patterns in huge amounts of historical data.
So wait, AI can look at past campaigns, sales figures, web traffic, all that stuff, and somehow connect the dots to predict how a new campaign might perform before you even spend a dime.
That's the idea. Yeah, it can forecast potential reach, estimate likely engagement levels, even predict conversion rates based on what's worked before with similar audiences.
That sounds incredibly valuable for brands, for planning, for budgeting.
Absolutely. It means allocating marketing spend with much more confidence, setting realistic goals for what a campaign can actually deliver.
And I'm guessing it's not just a pre-campaign thing, it works during the campaign too.
No, exactly. That's the other key part.
Right.
AI platforms allow for continuous real-time analysis while the campaign's running.
So you can see what's working and what's not on the fly.
Right. Brands can see, okay, this piece of content or maybe this particular influencer partnership is really outperforming. Then they can potentially shift budget or effort towards that, optimizing the return while it's actually happening.
That's a really tangible difference AI makes. And the sources, they gave us a real-world example of this, didn't they?
It did, yeah. The case study looked at Accenture working with Narrator.
Narrator's another AI platform.
An AI-powered platform.
And what was Accenture trying to do?
They were promoting a talent advancement program, specifically targeting final-year university students for their graduate scheme. And this was across both Singapore and Thailand.
Okay, specific goals, specific audience. How did the AI fit in?
They used it mainly for the influencer selection part, finding the right student voices, basically.
Makes sense.
And then for managing the campaign overall.
Well,
probably using those real-time insights we just talked about to steer things.
and did it work? Did the results back up the approach?
It seems so. The report said the campaign achieved significant engagement, specifically within that target group of final year students.
So a good demonstration of how AI for, smarter selection and data-driven management can really pay off.
Exactly. It shows it working in a real targeted campaign scenario.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, it feels pretty clear that AI is bringing some seriously sophisticated tools to the table. It's really transforming influencer marketing in Thailand.
Definitely.
We're seeing smarter data-backed influencer selection taking over from guesswork.
Right.
Content becoming more dynamic, more tailored because of real-time analysis. These completely new options like virtual influencers popping up.
Yeah, that whole dimension.
And finally, getting a much clearer handle on campaign ROI, which has always been elusive.
It really is equipping brands to navigate that complex Thai digital market more effectively and potentially, build deeper connections by genuinely understanding the audience through these new analytical lenses. It's data-informed authenticity, perhaps.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Considering this rise of virtual influencers and AI's growing power to predict and even quantify influence, how might the very definition of what an influencer is, how might that continue to change in the years ahead?
That's the big question, isn't it? Something to definitely keep an eye on as AI gets woven deeper into our digital lives.